A moment, Asta. Let me ask him if he's. Yeah. Now start recording. Asta, please, would you start again? Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome to our distinguished resource person, Dr. Rachna Khanna ma'am, and all the faculty members and all the enthusiastic participants present here. On behalf of the Aryabhatta Science Forum and IIC DDUC team, I welcome you all to the insightful webinar on attitude and success, focus on positive attitude and mindset. The single most important factor influencing a person's success, whether personal or professional, is mindset. What you think about consistently has a direct impact on your behavior and not the other way around. So, it's important to get this fundamental ingredient right. A seemingly small thing that makes a huge difference, mindset accounts for the primary distinction between those who succeed and those who do not. And if you are serious about achieving success in any area of your life, you must learn to master yours. Before proceeding, I would like to give a brief introduction of Aryabhatta Science Forum. ASF is a student society of the physics department. Its teacher convener is Dr. Paramjeet Kaur Bedi ma'am, and its teacher in charge is Dr. Deepak Jain. It is one of the oldest student societies of Deen Dayal Upadhyay College. It is a place where you not only find the abstract thinkers and the practical minds, but also young leaders, sportsmen, artists, and even businessmen. The main aims of the society are overall development of an individual, enhancing the knowledge of its members through interactive means, and to make them completely confident and independent. Now, I would like to tell you all about IIC. The teacher convener of IIC DDUC chapter is Dr. Ravinder Kaur Nam. The Ministry of Education, through its Innovation Cell, launched Institutions Innovation Council program for higher education institutions to systematically foster the culture of innovation and startups in the institute. We have conducted several sessions on innovation and entrepreneurship the past few months and received an overwhelming feedback from the audience. We continuously strive to promote innovative environment in our college. You can also check out our social media platforms for more information. I would now like to request Dr. Ravinder Nam to introduce our speaker, Dr. Rachna Khanna Singh.
Thank you so much, Asta. Yes, indeed, it's a privilege for us to have Dr. Rachna Khanna Singh, who is a very well-known person amongst us to talk about stress management. Before actually introducing her, on behalf of the Aryabhat Science Forum and IIC, I once again extend a very warm welcome to her, to a distinguished personality like Dr. Rachna Khanna Singh. All of us know our mind plays a big role in how we behave. Circumstances change. Sometimes circumstances are positive towards us, they are good towards us, and sometimes we also have rough times, we have challenges. But it's our how we tackle with them is the entire game changer. So a mental wellness and how do we actually make challenges to opportunities, keeping ourselves very balanced and calm is the golden rule one has to know. So today, on behalf of that, we decided to have a session, or rather a workshop, which would be a very interactive one from Dr. Rachna Khanna Singh. She's a very well-known name in her field. She's an acclaimed mental wellness, lifestyle, and relationship expert practicing for over 20 years with a medical background and focused on providing individual, group, and corporate counseling with a strong focus on hospital and clinical care. She is the head of the Department of Holistic Medicines at Artemis Hospital, Gurgaon, and also the founder and director of the Mind and Wellness Studio that provides services like stress management and counseling to create positive changes in the lives of people to ensure holistic health for a better tomorrow. Let me congratulate her for doing such an awesome job for the society. She has conducted various workshops, webinars, and one-on-one counselings for over 500 leading corporate houses and banks of the country like Amazon, Ford India, HDFC, among many others, focusing on mental wellness and soft skills training, which are really the need of today. Having achieved a proficiency as a corporate healthcare counselor, she is also a consultant with important NGOs and is an executive board member with NGO Service Summon, where she works with underprivileged women and children for various medical and psychological ailments. Dr. Rachna is routinely featured in the media. She is a columnist for Times of India and has a radio show on 104.8 FM. She is the author of a highly proclaimed book on mental wellness called Stress Diaries from the Eyes of a Therapist, which has been stated as a mental health first aid kit with tips and tricks to manage day to day stress. And let me add, it's making huge waves on LinkedIn. So it's an honor to have her today amongst us, and we would all be looking forward for the tips and tricks each one of us need, not only students, but everyone in their life to overcome with our day-to-day routine, mundane routines. We need that. So not becoming a barrier now between Dr. Rachna and the audience, I would request her to deliver her lecture. Thank you so much, and once again, a warm welcome.
Thank you so very much. Can you hear me and see me?
Yes, you are visible. We can see you.
Okay, okay. Thank you so very much for such a warm welcome, and thank you so much, Dr. Ravinder, for coordinating this for the last few days. We've been in touch, and it's been an absolute pleasure. And thank you so much for the lovely introduction as well. Yes, we have been working, me and my team, hugely in the space of mental health and wellness to create a lot of awareness. And in the last, specifically in the pandemic itself, I have worked with more than 300 schools and colleges, pan India, to do a lot of work on this from universities internationally and domestically known universities as well, whether it's the IITs, the IIMs, lecture with all of them. I am Nagpur, Ahmedabad. So, it is wonderful to have an audience of the faculty as well as the students together, because we together can make a huge change. Now, the next hour that I'm with you, I will be talking more about, we are going to discuss a little bit about mental wellness. We're going to discuss a little bit about attitude, success, positive mental health, and how are we going to stay positive in these given circumstances. Yeah. So I would just, request all of you to be as interactive as possible. I will try to tell you to do some paper pen exercises. And whilst you do the paper pen exercises, the more you immerse yourself in it, the more you're going to get out of it. So it's workshop, but more like a self-evolution journey, so that we understand something from them. And if we can make even a 10% change coming from the workshop, I think after the workshop, my work is largely done. Okay, so let's go to the next slide, please. Next, please.
Rajkumar ji, please change the slide.
I'm changing it, ma'am. Just hold on.
I don't think everybody.
Yeah, yes. Now visible? Now visible, ma'am?
Yes. So just have a look at this. Have a look at this. Talk about how mental health is in the world in large amounts of mobility and mortality in the world. I would request everybody to please put yourself on mute. Thank you. Next, please. So next slide, please. Thank you. So if we have a look at this, so 1 in 4 people, these are statistics coming from the WHO, which say that 1 in 4 people suffer from some mental health concern or the other. But let me tell you, these are pre-pandemic statistics. So a lot of evolutionary psychologists have been mapping. We have also been, mapping our data, providing the data, but we are coming to almost close to a conclusion that this is not 1 in 4 anymore. This is close to 1 in 2 people having some mental health concern or the other. That means every second person listening over here has some mental health concern or the other. And of course, the pandemic has brought this very largely into the forefront. And with this, mental health becomes an utmost priority for all of us to take care of. Next, please. Have a look at the next statistics, which are, the reason for me to, next, please.
Dr. Rachna, there's some voice problem probably at your end. If you could kindly adjust it about the
Okay.
clarity of voice.
Clarity. Is this better?
Yeah, it's better. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks for pointing it out. Okay. So I think this is a little virtual glitch which we people keep getting, in virtual life. This is the new normal, no? So we keep having these technical glitches.
Totally
Okay.
agree.
Yes. So yeah. So have a look at this particular slide, which talks about some very gaudy statistics. Now, the purpose for me to bring across gaudy statistics is not to frighten everybody, but to tell everybody that this is what is existing, and here is how we need to create a change. So over 80% of people with clinical depression do not receive any specific treatment. So if I was to reverse this, अगर मैं इसको उल्टा दूं statistics को, अगर 80% लोगों को ट्रीटमेंट मिले तो हमारे पास इस तरीके के statistics and the overload on the society with mental illness will not be there. With depression, anxiety, insomnia, and so many things. Next, please. Next, please.
Rajkumar, next, please.
Yes, so have a look at this. Like I said, my purpose is not to frighten anybody, but the purpose is to bring the truth across to the table. So, very sad statistics which says that every hour a student commits suicide in India. And our hope is with, programs like these, with the corporate houses, with us writing so much in the media. I do the weekly column for Times of India, which is we ask the expert online section. Trust me, ever since the pandemic, our mailboxes are full asking for queries. I do the radio show with Radio Mirchi every second, third day on in 11 cities where people just don't, the callers don't stop. It's because we have started to give this very great importance, and with awareness, we hope to kind of nip this in the bud. And so my hope is that this statistics which says 1 hour every student will hopefully will be looking as maybe 1 hour, maybe one student, not even in a month, if we were to prioritize our mental health. Next, please. So why is it that mental illnesses go unnoticed? You see, next, please. Yeah, thank you. So one of the main reasons is the fact that, so far there had been a large amount of stigma, around mental health. And I, give this a very common example that, till about few years ago, if we would go to a social gathering, so many times our patients would just cross us by and not want to even recognize us because, people didn't know their parents were in counseling or their spouses were in counseling and family members and so on and so forth. And now I feel there's a huge change. In fact, in 2019, the Woman of the Year was a patient with me, and we happened to meet at a public, a very highly accomplished public gathering, where she took me by my arm and introduced me to the who's who of Delhi, saying, "This is my therapist." And I said, "Wow, that's a real change, So she said, "Why shouldn't we?" Because I'm standing on this platform today with gained confidence. Because I had some issues and I came for counseling and I was able to solve them. So coming to a counselor or going to a therapist does not mean you have a mental health issue. We have people coming from all walks of life. I have fashion models, politicians, movie actors, CEOs of very big companies. They come just to take a third party opinion or sometimes just a simple guidance, which helps them, go past difficult situations. And all of us need some help or the other at some point of time. And very, very often people tell everybody now that, if you were to have a stomach ache, what do? If you have consistent stomach aches, Well, you reach out to some medicines in your cabinet, home medicines. You'll have ajwain water. You'll have some antacid. Nahi theek hoga, you're going to go and take an appointment with the doctor. Similarly, if your moods are staying low consistently, if you're having anxiety spells, if you're feeling low, if you feel that you're not able to handle the emotions, it is just not a bad idea to take an appointment with a mental health expert. And today, fortunately, we are all available at the press of a button. Next, please. So, of course, mental health and wellness is completely in a need of the hour, as we were discussing, and it is essential to improve our mind, body, and spirit to maximize the potential for our life. Next, please. So, now we don't not only talk about just mind, body, spirit, we talk about holistic 6 dimensions of wellness: environmental, spiritual, social, physical, emotional, and intellectual. So now we say that if we are well in most of these areas, we are in good mental health, or we are in good health, rather. Why mental health? So this is something which is very, very important for us to understand, that we have now opened our horizons. Next, please. And of course, other than these 2 dimensions, we have an important dimension of mindset. That means, how do we see the world around us? And equally important aspect of attitude, how we interact according to how we are going to see the world, how we interact with it. Next. So a very famous study done in King's College in London has found that replacing the usual flow of verbal worry with a positive attitude and mindset reduces worry, stress, and anxiety. So our attitude, our mindset is what is going to determine who and what we are. Next, please. However, we do understand that with the pandemic, it has become very difficult. Next, please. Yeah. We do understand it's become very difficult to maintain a positive mindset. And today we are here to help you maintain that positive mindset by itself. Next. So have a look at this. This says that, 80% of the deaths worldwide are due to lifestyle disorders and not due to any allergy or infection as stated. So, it is important that if we can change our lifestyle, if we can alter it, we can bring down the death rate, the morbidity, mortality as well. Next, please. And as I promised, I'm going to make this interactive to Dr. Ravinder. I was talking to her the other day and telling her. So I want everybody to put their heads together and start penning down some things on the chat. So have a look at this and see, what do you think is wrong with your lifestyle? See, all of us know there's something or the other wrong with our lifestyle nowadays. So quickly, just think for a few seconds. Don't worry about your spouse's lifestyle, your parents' lifestyle, your children's lifestyle. Let's think about ourselves. This workshop is about you. Think about it so that we can see that, how are we going to create and make different changes. Yeah. So let's start, whoever is thinking, let's just start flowing freely, and please start typing in. Anyone who would like to share?
Sneha, rather than raising your hand, please, would you write it in the chat box?
Right. Yes. Overworking, Astha saying, Saurabh says lack of inconsistency, anxiety, Harish. Fantastic. Anyone else? Because we all know something is wrong. Okay. Overthinking.
I don't see anyone writing sleeping late at night, which is a very common problem.
Because if we started thinking that's the new normal. Consistency. Okay. These are few things that we feel are part of a wrong lifestyle, hectic schedule. So let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, so this slide is nothing but exactly what all of you have been talking about: stress, tension, faulty diet, sedentary lifestyle, smoking, alcohol, all these convert into faulty lifestyle, right? And if you see at the bottom, there's a large number of illnesses which absolutely someone saying not proper diet. Yes, Shazia, that's exactly what you see on the screen now. It boils down to large number of psychiatric, neurological, heart illnesses, even cancers. So it is important that we start looking into our lifestyle and making some changes. Next, please. Because the beauty is if we make some changes in our lifestyle, we can reverse all these problems. Next, please.
Rajkumar, next.
Yeah. So faulty lifestyle is also pressure to perform, busy schedules, urbanization, and peer pressure. That also adds to it. So now we're going to talk a little bit right now today about stress, because we said, how our mindset and how our attitude is based on how what we feel when we are stressed. Please go to the next slide.
Rajkumar, next, please.
Yeah, thank you. So we all see this caption very clearly, categorically stating stress. So it's a very obvious slide and it has so many things going on in this with this woman. So can you tell me how many, what is it? Okay, tell me what is one word which is creating stress for this lady here? The caption says stress, so we know she's stressed. So what is it? Overworking, focusing on things. What else? Just one word. Work. Okay, fantastic, Nilesh. Nilesh has the answer. The one word is multitasking. So multitasking is what is creating massive amount of stress for this particular person, right? And any guesses how many tasks can our mind do at one given point of time, at any given point of time, without feeling stressed? Without feeling stressed, how many tasks can our mind do? One. Okay, one. Some guesses? One. Okay, so everybody seems to think. Two. Ritika, okay, you have the answer. So Ritika said a correct answer. Two tasks are permissible for our mind to do at any given point of time without feeling stressed. But usually we are doing more than at least 3 to 4 tasks at any given point of time. So that would mean, I'm looking at my phone, I'm reading a message, I'm doing some work on my laptop, I'm listening to something, I have to think what I'm going to eat for dinner tonight, I have to make a plan with somebody. So many things, right? So this is exactly what it takes, right? So not more than 2 tasks, and that is the reason why we end up feeling so stressed. Next, please. So what really is stress? We use it very commonly nowadays. So stress is nothing but the physiological and psychological response of the body to a situation that it seems, that it perceives to be harmful. Next, please. So like exactly how we just spoke about, what we were, next, please. Thank you. So I want all of you to look into your own selves and see that what is it that you feel when you are stressed. So think for a few seconds and start typing down what is it that you feel when you are stressed. Anxious, Astha saying, what else? All of us at any given point of time, in fact, in a day, we feel very stressed. Tanav, tension, stress, nothing goes well. Irritated, Megha is saying. Problem, anger, angry. Anyone else? Sadness. Heartbeat becomes fast. Okay. Sleep, fantastic. So everybody is realizing that we do feel some things, and you would understand that some people are feeling some body symptoms, some people are feeling some mind symptoms. So it is very important to understand that each one of us act differently when we are under stress. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, so I've divided this into buckets for all of you. So some of the emotional symptoms are irritability, anger, apprehension, fear, sadness, गुस्सा आना, चिड़चिड़ाहट होना, डर लगना, अच्छा नहीं लगना. These are very, very common symptoms of stress, which are the emotional symptoms. Next, please. Then are the symptoms. Cognition means the symptoms of the mind. So difficulty in concentrating, can't decide, can't focus. Next, please. Then we have the somatic symptoms. So soma means the body. So we have symptoms coming onto the body, like someone else here was also saying, sleep. So disturbances in sleep. Either we sleep too much under stress or we sleep too little. Either we eat too much or we eat too little. Sometimes, our hunger just goes away, and sometimes we feel very, very hungry when we are under stress. Some people people react differently. Aches, pains which are persisting, palpitation, easy fatigue, and so on, right? Next, please. So behavioral symptoms, reduced performance, absenteeism, increase in drugs, any kind of caffeine, a lot of caffeine, smoking, alcohol, all these are negative coping mechanisms which people end up applying. And of course, consequently, you could have reduced, weight or increased weight. You can't hear me. Neha is saying she can't hear me. Dr. Ravinder?
For me, it's fine. Sometimes the voice fluctuates, but at the moment, it's fine.
Okay. So behavioral symptoms where there is a loss or can be a gain of weight, like I was saying earlier, that we may eat more or we may eat less. So next, please. So what I've done for all of you is you people can all put your buckets here. It will just make it a little easier. Just create some buckets for yourself on a paper, which will become easy for you to identify what is it that you feel when you are under stress. So next, please. So if you see these buckets, we've kind of, divided this into self-related issues. This is specific to the pandemic now because all of us have been having a tough time for the last couple of years. Couple, parenting, elderly, and work life. Next, please. So if you see, self-related issues could be anxiety, frustration, anger, impact on daily schedule, like how Dr. Ravinder pointed out, late sleep, that because started to become a norm, erratic sleep cycles, a lot of, screen time, watching stuff late at night, and, waking up late. So it's, people are literally from their, I think, bed, walking, entering into a Zoom call. So erratic sleep, meals, and exercise patterns, right? So these are very, very, very common situations nowadays. Next, please. Yeah. So for people who are in a relationship or people who are married, we have seen that the pandemic has not been very easy because the personal frustration levels have been so high, and it's been coming out on the partner. There is uneven distribution of chores. People are working from home, become quite a nuisance now. Earlier, what we used to love, we've started to hate. Initially, when lockdown 1.0 and 2.0 happened, all of us had this hope and cheer, and we said, oh wow, we are not going to go to school, college, work, and we're all going to make the most out of it, sit at home, enjoy with our families. But that same thing became irksome much later, and very unfortunately towards the end of the year, end of 2020, the number of cases of domestic violence and divorces filed has been exponentially high because of this, because the dormant issues in all relationships have come to the forefront. Not only couple relationships, otherwise also wherever the bonds of the relationship have been weak, the pandemic brought it forward. But if we flip it around, we see that it is also the time to resurrect, redo your relationships, write new relationships, and relook at them. Pause and relook at them. Next, please. I think including the kids and the parents, it's been a very, very hard time where little children haven't been to school for the longest length of time. Kids who cleared their 12th last year, they haven't seen the face of university. They've spent almost 1.5 years without going to the university and getting the uni experience. Kids who were in the 12th this year, my own daughter, I felt none of them ever got a chance to go back to school. We didn't know boards were happening, what was going on. So, and very small kids, they've completely been on the screen. And some little children don't even know what is school. They just think it's just a screen, which is school. So it's been a very challenging year for everybody. And I'd say for adults, it's still all right. For kids, we have lost a lot of milestone years. Next, please. And of course, dealing with the elderly, there's the most vulnerable section of a society. We have been super careful with the elderly around, which has obviously increased large amounts of loneliness in them. They lost going out for their routine walks, their peer groups, their laughter clubs. And what was most difficult for them was that they were not that tech savvy as our generation or the younger generation. And this is a question I get in every single webinar. What can we do to help the elderly around? What one can do to help the elderly around is make sure that you help them become a little tech savvy, create WhatsApp groups for them, make them do video calls with their friends, with their families, their cousins, so, and to just keep them more involved. Next, please. And of course, we all know work from home hasn't been the easiest. And I keep joking with everybody. Earlier, I used to joke and say that, you don't know, I could be doing this presentation in my pajamas, but well, that's not the truth. So next, please. Next, please. Yeah. So this is a huge study. It's a huge study sample, which has been done by Everett during the pandemic, which says that 130,000 participants are actually there in the survey, which is a huge number. So it says that, the emerging trends on the employee experience are not very nice, actually. High workloads, extended hours, difficult work-life balance, blurred lines between work and home. We didn't know when work was stopping, when the home atmosphere was beginning. And for that, we were constantly saying that please ensure that you give a totally different, kind of feel to yourself, to your home, put some music on, change the environment around so that you feel that you finish work. And of course, prolonged burnout. Next, please. Have a look at this. This is very beautifully put in. So after this, I'm going to go straight to stress management. So I would just request, because I have Dr. Jasmeet joining us from my team, if we could go straight to slide 44, please. 44. Yeah. So far we've been talking about what are the concerns, how have we been, what were the symptoms. Let's go to slide 44, please. Yeah, the next one, please. Yeah, the next. Thank you. Yeah. So we're going to discuss a little bit about stress management today. So like I said, we've discussed so far what's been going on, and now we're going to discuss how to manage it. So I always follow an ABC strategy. So next, please. We still just need to join. So A, which is awareness, B for balance, and C for the control. Next, please. So awareness as what causes you stress, how do you react to it? This is what the exercise we did earlier, that how are you reacting to the stress? What are the symptoms? It's very important for us to know what the problem is before we go to the solution. We'll never go to solutions until we know what the problem is. We must learn to identify the problem and the concern first. B, next please. B is the balance, where we say there's a very fine line between positive and negative stress, because some amount of stress is extremely important for all of us to have. That is the eustress, which is the positive stress. Because if we don't have any stress at all, we're not going to get up in the morning to go to work. We're not going to get up to go to school. We will not work to get our grades. We will not do perform better. So some amount of stress is certainly very, very needed. And how much can you cope with it before it becomes negative? Let's go to the next. And C is the control, what we're going to talk to you about in the next half an hour that we're with you. So I have Dr. Jasmeet. I hope she's joining. Jasmeet, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So Dr. Jasmeet is a senior consultant with my team. She's joined in right now. She does some fantastic exercises. And before we go on to how are we going to cope up, next please. So we're going to talk a little bit about dealing with stress. And one of the best ways to dealing with stress is a specific exercise which is going to be done right now. So Jasmeet, over to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Good evening, everybody. Okay, so for this exercise, we just have I just want to give you brief instructions before. So if you feel you want to sit down or lie down for this exercise, whatever seems comfortable, that's absolutely okay. If you're wearing any kinds of specs or slippers, you can just remove them and just come in the most comfortable position and just relax. Try to keep the lighting of the room a little dim if you can. And I'm just starting a little bit of a music. Let me know if you can hear it in the chat box. I hope everybody can hear the music.
No, not really, Jasmeet. The music is not audible.
It's not audible. Just give me one
No.
second. Is it now?
Not audible.
Just give me one second. Is it audible?
No, ma'am.
Is this audible?
No, not really.
Okay, so what we can do, I think, we can just do it without the music.
Yeah, that would be better.
Yeah,
Let's.
let's do it without the music. That's okay. No
Yeah,
problem.
that's the same thing. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay. So you just lie down or sit down in the comfortable position and just gradually, slowly close your eyes. धीरे धीरे अपनी आंखें बंद कर लीजिए. And just start noticing your breathing. Take a deep breath in. एक गहरी सांस अंदर लीजिए. And exhale. Just keep your attention on your breathing, how the air is going in and out. With every breath you take, imagine the feeling of tension leaving your body. And just relax. Now, during this exercise, I will ask you to tense different parts of your body. If at any point you feel uncomfortable, you can just sit back and relax. Now we'll move your attention towards your feet. We can begin to tense our feet by curling our toes downwards and arching our foot. अपने टोज को नीचे की तरफ कर्ल कर लीजिए, मोड़ लीजिए, and just hold on to that tension. Just notice what it feels like. And now release the tension in your feet. Let them relax. And notice this new feeling of relaxation in your feet. Next, we'll begin to focus on your lower leg. You can tense these muscles by slightly pointing your toes up towards your knees. अपने पैरों को अपने घुटने की तरफ मोड़ के रखिए, पॉइंट करके रखिए. As tight as possible. Keep holding. And now slowly release the tension from your lower legs. Let them relax. And just remember to keep your breathing normal. Now we're going to move your attention to your upper leg and pelvis. You can tense these muscles by tightly squeezing your thighs together. Make sure you can feel that tenseness without going to a point of strain. Keep holding. And now slowly and gradually relax your muscles. Let your legs come to an ease. Let them relax. Feel the tension leave your muscles when you're relaxing. Next, we're going to focus on your stomach and chest. You can tense the stomach muscles by sucking your stomach in. Keep holding just a little bit longer. And relax. Allow your body to go completely relaxed and loose. Next, we're going to focus on your shoulders and your back. You can tense these muscles by slightly raising your shoulders up towards your ears. Tense them as hard as you can without going to a point of strain, and keep holding. Just a little bit longer. And now slowly and gradually let your shoulders come back to their normal position. Feel the tension slowly leaving your body. And just notice how different your body feels when you allow it to relax. Now we're going to focus on your hands and your arms. Make a tight fist from both of your hands and squeeze it all the way up to your arms. Feel that tension and just keep holding it. And now slowly and gradually open your hands. Let your arms relax. Release that tension. Now we're going to move up to your neck and your head. You can tense these muscles by tightly shutting your eyes and mouth together as tight as possible and just keep holding. Keep holding. And now slowly and gradually let your muscles relax. Do not open your eyes, but relax the muscles around your eyes and your mouth. Notice this new feeling of relaxation. Finally, your entire body from your feet to your head is completely relaxed. You're at ease. You are calm and at peace. Pay attention to this feeling of relaxation and how different it is from the feeling of tension. Now, slowly and gradually begin to wake your body up by moving your muscles, adjust your arms and legs, give your muscles a nice small stretch, and just open your eyes when you're ready. I hope everybody's back. They can tell us in the chat box how you guys are feeling. Great, relaxed and calm, relaxed. Superb. Very nice. This is good to know. Great. I'm glad that everybody's feeling very relaxed and very calm. So this
Dr.
exercise,
Jasmeet, there's a
yes,
magic in your voice actually. You know, the way you speak, even I was like, I had to really focus to pay attention. It was so relaxing. I was about to doze off.
That's
Just
the best form of relaxation. So you're just yes, Jasmeet, very well. She specifically specializes in certain wonderful exercises,
thank you
and
so much. Thank you so
proud
much,
to
Dr.
have her
Ravinder. Thank you, ma'am.
I think more than the exercises, the way you were speaking, that was so relaxing. And I just wanted to move away from this screen and go to my, place where I could lie down and simply listen to your voice and do the instructions as you are giving them, rather than sitting in front of the screen and taking care of other things. I was feeling
Right.
it's a lot of hindrance, and I'm missing on that part. So I really have to compliment on the voice, the way you deliver and the way you tell the exercises. It's so
Thank you so
relaxing.
much, ma'am. That means a lot. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
thank you. I hope everybody would have understood that how we feel even on a given working day in the midst of, our mind presentation, making you do some mental work, even then, how we are able to just in flat 10 minutes start feeling relaxed. So it is very, very important for all of us to understand that, and that it just takes 10 minutes or 15 minutes of mindfulness, right? So that is what we need to understand. Okay, let's move back to the presentation.
But how would we get that voice, Dr. Rachna? And
That's what
those instructions.
you'll have to fix an appointment with us for that. So, but yeah, so, because we only do it as a part of certain specific. So we have very, very, very different exercises. When what at that time,
Yeah.
what is done at that time, and so on. So that way. Okay, let's move to the presentation, please. Yeah. Let's go to the next slide. Okay. So next slide, please. Yes.
Ma'am, you're not audible.
Ma'am, please open your mic.
Yes. Sorry. So if you see, one of the most important things in stress management is changing our thinking, changing our behavior, and changing our lifestyle. So very, very importantly, what we talk nowadays about is positive thinking. So it's very easy. Next, please. So it's very easy for everybody to say, "Arey, mat sochiye negative. Start thinking in a positive way." But it's not that simple to do it. So where do we really need to change? We really need to change at our own level. If we want positive things to to happen to us. Next, please. Positive things to happen to us. It is important that we think positively. So, it's a very common example that we take and give, that when we go to, for example, when we go to a gym, right, we put an intention. When we want to lose 5 kgs weight, what do? We put an intention, okay, I'm going to lose the weight. We make an effort, we go to the gym, we stop eating sweets and do many efforts, no, to achieve our target and to achieve a goal. Next, please, right? Similarly, whenever we put in our mind that I want to think positive, it is a practice. It doesn't come automatically. We need to make an effort for this to happen. So similarly, so we need to put a positive intention to say that whatever negative thoughts are coming, I will start speaking in a positive way. So first and foremost is to think positively, and thereby if I think positive, my speech will be positive. If my speech is positive, my actions are automatically going to be positive, and I'm going to attract positive experiences, positive people, nurturing experiences, and a lot of loving experiences if my whole thought process is positive. But on the other side, if I think negatively, I will have negative speech. So lots of people were constantly saying and constantly living out of fear in the pandemic. Kya hoga? Agar hum bahar jayenge, to will we catch the virus? If I touch this, will this happen to me? So we were constantly in a whirlwind of negative thoughts. So negative thought will give negative speech. Negative speech will only produce negative anxiety-born actions. And once the actions are negative, automatically we will only be attracting negative situations, negative circumstances, and negative people. So it is very, very important to make that extra effort to start speaking positively. Next, please. And how do we do it? We do it with the help of positive statements, positive affirmations, by changing our thought, by changing our speech. For example, instead of saying what's going to happen, I say, I'm going to have a wonderful time. My life is full of joy. My relationships are healed. I am in the best of health. My finance is very good. My marks are very good. I am very successful. So this is the kind of language we need to have. Next, please. Next, just go to the next one. So next, please. Yeah, so very, very importantly, we need to create some changes in our behavior. So have a quick read on that. So some very basic tips. Next, please. Getting organized, that is one of the best stress management mantras. This helps us decrease the stress on ourselves. Next, please. Next, please. Time management, learning to manage our time better, having better schedules in place, dropping time wasters, delegating, understanding. These all will help our day-to-day life become easier and free of stress. Next, please. So we see a very common thing that, a problem shared is a problem halved. So ventilation is very important, but also that does not mean that we knock everybody's door with our problems. But if we have a couple of people on our hands who are our confidants, we should feel ourselves very, very lucky. Yeah. So a lot of gratitude is what we need to start inculcating in ourselves, specifically after what we all have seen in the pandemic. So we are learning. We have this constant feeling, which after the second wave, everybody was talking about, which was called the blah feeling, that I don't feel like getting up. I don't feel like doing anything. I feel demotivated. I'm not depressed, but I don't feel like doing anything. So what is that? Languishing. So what we are learning now is to flourish. So from languishing to flourishing. And thereby, we talk about gratitude, and gratitude is one of the most important things which will help us flourish. Next, please. You can go straight to the next slide because we just start to wind them. So some tips for positive mental health in today's time. One is, please make sure that you have a fixed routine in place. So making sure that your waking up time, your sleeping time is monitored, your eating time. A lot of us lost sense of sleeping late, binge watching, waking up in the morning, rolling from bed to a Zoom call, not getting ready to work. So we need to stop all that to create a sense of well-being. Secondly, physical exercise, 45 minutes to 1 hour of brisk physical exercise, extremely important. Very, very important, because that allows us not only to be physically fit, look good, but it also allows us to live, it also allows the body to liberate positive hormones, which helps us to counter any kind of stress. Next. So next is, yeah. So, another important thing is 10 minutes of mindfulness every day. Like what we did right now was just a 10-minute exercise. So 10 to 15 minutes of mindfulness can also decrease our stress a lot. Mindfulness or meditation. This wasn't a meditation, but yes, you could also learn to meditate. It's beautiful. 10 minutes of breathing exercises daily, simple pranayam every day, which not only one, of course, it helps our lungs stay very healthy. Secondly, gives us a beautiful mind-body balance. Thirdly, makes sure that our thymus glands are working. So once the thymus glands are working, the lymphocytes are excreted, once the lymphocytes are given out, then that becomes very important for us, for our immune system. And once our immune system is good, we can be rest assured that we'll be disease-free, right? Okay. So, and also indulging in some positive activities daily. In fact, research shows us that if we indulge in 2 hours of a hobby every week, even 2 hours of a hobby, it is known to bring down our stress levels tremendously. Right? And last and not the least, having a fantastic and good, strong structure of family and friends is what will keep us completely grounded and completely well settled. And which you remember the wellness wheel. In fact, Dr. Ravindra, I'll share a video with you, which is a 4.5-minute video I had done for the UAE, and it flashes on all the airports now in the UAE airports. And it is a beautiful video which you could share with everybody, and it gives a very concise picture of what we should do to keep these 6 dimensions of wellness together, right? And next, please. Next, please. Yeah. So this is an app which we have. It's called the Mind and Wellness app, and it's completely free of cost. Everybody can download it. It's only available on the Android version, and it's one of the best apps which is for mental wellness. It's got these exercises which we people did today. Some of these exercises, some similar to something what Dr. Jasmeet also did. You can download it and use it, and it's one of the most comprehensive apps with best information on mental health. Next, please. And this is the book which Dr. Ravindra was speaking about. It's now known as the Mental Health First Aid Kit. It's available freely on Amazon, on all your bookstores in all over Pan India, and you can go to any bookstore and grab it, or else you can just get it on Amazon. It's a worth keep on your bookshelf, on your table, because like we have a physical book first when we are physically feeling unwell, what do we do? Similarly, so when we're mentally feeling unwell, sometimes we are very low or very anxious or have an exam, don't know what to do. It's got very simple exercises as well as other exercises which should help you go through for your self-esteem, self-worth, and a lot of other things should help you feel comfortable from the realms of from the place of your own comfort of your own home, right? And with this, and of course, if you're feeling consistently uncomfortable, please make sure that you do pick up an appointment with any mental health expert, which is important. So with this, I'll finish the presentation for today, and we have the house open for questions. So if there are any questions, I will be happy to answer.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rachna, for a very well structured information which you talked about the ground realities we all face. It's not only the students, I think each one of us face these challenges of anxiety, deadlines, and palpitations, feeling low, and how to manage them, especially during the times of pandemic. It becomes all the more important. And what you have discussed is really, really, although all of us know in bits and pieces, but seeing it in a comprehensive manner and in front of us and how to tackle it, it's very important. Yes, that attitude makes the entire difference. Circumstances keep on changing, but it's only how we take it gives us a constant happiness or a satisfaction. And the way you told about ABC, that means awareness, balance, and control. Out here, I have a small question before going to the students' question. Sometimes I have seen people who have this problem of stress or anxiety. They would rather avoid listening about any session on stress or anxiety. Do you agree?
Not
They
really.
have an attitude of because they are going through it and they just don't want to tell themselves, so they're
Sometimes,
not very open to it.
sometimes we can have what happens is avoidance, which is very, very
Yeah,
common. So sometimes when we
yeah,
need something, we end up avoiding it.
Because like I said, मेहनत लगती है. Positive thinking करने में भी मेहनत लगती है. It is not a natural phenomena. It's like saying like I said, if I want to drop 2 kgs of weight, it's just by thinking it's not going to go. I'll have to work hard. I'll have to put an intention. Similarly, when I want to change my mental attitude, I want to change, I want to achieve something, I need to put an intention and work towards it, even if I want to change my thought process. So it doesn't happen naturally. So which doesn't happen naturally, which requires an effort. Obviously, we need to put an effort into it, right? So that's what typically starts happening. Although, Dr. Ravinder, I'm seeing a vast change in the way uh, children are being nowadays, teenagers. I'd say they've become, I mean, specifically in the pandemic, in the last year and a half, we are seeing an enormous sea change where they're coming across and asking for counseling. They're telling their parents that they need counseling. If they're feeling uncomfortable, I think they have become very, very aware of their mental health.
yes, I agree. Awareness has really increased, and kids are now more conscious about it. They realize the importance of mind wellness because the efficiency really goes high if your mind is sound and well and peaceful. uh,
Absolutely.
any questions from the participants?
Maharaja.
You can write it in the chat box.
I'll be happy to answer, or you could even drop us a mail later. My mail ID is rachnakesing1@gmail.com. We will have somebody or the other. We will make sure about 24 to 48 hours we do respond to your queries.
Any questions?
So I think that's a very bright audience that we have. And if we have no questions, then we will wind for the evening today. And like I said, even if later on and there are any questions, I will be very, very happy to answer. You can write to me on rachnakesing1@gmail.com.
Okay, Shubham has a question. How to overcome from our exam stress? That's the most common amongst the students.
Yeah, so exam stress. So firstly, we need to make sure that, Shubham, that's a great question. So firstly, we need to make sure that, we have studied enough, because exam stress does happen when we are not fully prepared. And the same thing even happens if you're not prepared for an interview, you're not prepared. When we're not prepared, that brings anxiety. So a good thing to do is to be a little prepared from before so that the anxiety levels are not that high. Second thing is, let's say if you are well prepared and you feel that every time you go through an examination or you go through a difficult time, your anxiety levels, partially it's very natural for them to go up, but partially if you feel it's going out of hand, you could do some simple breathing techniques, some breathing exercises, which brings down the anxiety there and then. For example, when we just did this exercise with you people, which just took us 10 minutes to do, right? But it immediately brought down the stress levels. In fact, like Dr. Ravindra was saying, I was feeling sleepy. So sleep is the deepest form of relaxation. So imagine in 12 minutes, you can go from being there to a complete zone of relaxation. So we can train ourselves doing certain amount of breathing exercises, keeping ourselves, making sure that we are well prepared, and keeping a work and keeping some sort of a work-life balance. That means we don't have to go crazy before the exam. Sometimes I see nowadays we have so many children in counseling, and like I said, there's so many students who've been reaching out to us from schools, universities, and I feel sometimes, students are very extremely frightened as to, have they studied enough and they'll be studying maybe 10 hours. If you don't need to, make sure even before the evening of your exam, please ensure that you make sure that your walks continue. You do, make sure whatever physical exercise you do, that should not stop, exam or no exam. So that should go on. Some breathing exercises you can do. See, all these elevate and strengthen the nervous system.
Very rightly said, Dr. Rachna. I think it's the fear of unknown which initiates this anxiety, Shubham. So, as a student and a teacher, I would say you're doing your best and just leave. Don't think about how would I fare. You have given your best input, and then you should not be anxious. Dr. Rachna said it's preparedness. Sometimes I think students who are very well prepared become more nervous because they are more bothered about their marks as compared to students who are not bothered about their marks and all. They don't study, neither are they tensed. So I think it's more of anxiety of unknown, of what is going to happen in future. How would the result be? So I think you can just make it, you can cope up with certain exercises, breathing exercises, as Dr. Rachna told you.
I think that should become a part of your schedule, your routine. Keep caffeine low. Don't have too much caffeine. That also raises the anxiety. Make sure you get some sunlight every day. Make sure you're walking every day. Make sure you're doing breathing exercises every day. If you're well-rounded and have a good balance, certainly so you will not face these difficulties.
I could see one of the questions where they said ki you work better in anxiety. Obviously, when we have deadlines, we know we work with our best potential. That's something else. So, as Dr. Rachna also mentioned, we have a positive stress, which is a constructive, and we may have a negative. So it depends upon you how you are taking it as. But as a routine, I think it's only reaching your goals and which makes more sense.
All right. So I think with that, we'll wind the session for today. Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Ravinder, for having me.
Let me formally and officially thank you once again on behalf of the entire organizing committee of Aryabhat Science Forum and Institution Innovation Council. It was a very insightful, very useful session. And the tips about how to make your mind relaxed, more focused, and dealing with our day-to-day stress, it would be very useful for us and would go a long way. Thank you so much, Dr. Rachna, for joining. I would request Rajkumar ji to kindly take, I'll request all the participants to switch on their cameras so we can have a group photograph. And I would request Rajkumar ji to take one picture, a screenshot.
Yes,
all the students, all the participants, kindly switch on your cameras. राजकुमार जी, आपके स्क्रीन पर कितने नजर आ रहे हैं लोग? How many can you see for a screenshot?
There are nearly 20 people on the screen, ma'am.
Can we take more?
It's maximum, and I'll try, ma'am. Ma'am, it's maximum, ma'am.
Okay. Then we can take 2 or 3 screenshots, maybe. Is it done?
Yes, ma'am. Done.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rachna. It was indeed a pleasure
Thank
and looking
you.
forward to more interactions with you.
Thank you so much. Look forward.
And I also thank our ICT person, Mr. Rajkumar, for giving his valuable time. I know he's late, but really thankful to him. And I thank all the participants for your valuable time. And I'm sure you're going back with some nice messages about how to manage your stress and how to make your life more disciplined so that you get better positive results, a positive mindset, and a positive attitude. So can we wind up? Dr. Professor
Thank
Deepak
you.
and
Thank you so
Dr.
much
Bedi.
for having me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rachna. Uh,
Yeah,
Deepak,
you can. Yeah, yes, yes, Ravindra.
would you like to speak?
No, it's okay. I think you have covered everything.
I would request all the participants to kindly fill up the feedback form. The certificates would be available only to those who have filled the feedback form. And I would also request to be very candid about it, be very frank about it, and give your suggestions what all fields you would like to have webinars about, because it's always a mutual learning. Until and unless you don't give us a feedback, we don't know what topics or what areas you would like to listen to about or get knowledge about. So please be very honest about it and don't fill it just like any other form. Thank you so much for till then, till the next webinar. Stay safe, stay healthy. God bless you all.
Okay, thank you.
And can we stop the recording now?
Yeah, you can. Yes, you can stop the recording, Yash.
Raj